And they're even getting a whole group going to rip down more statues to get rid of more history.
All right. Give me a second here. Get situated. So, taking a look at the crypto tracker, Solana at 97, Bitcoin in the 43,000 range. Ethereum itching back up, could hit 3,000 at 2,927. It was hovering in the 2,500 range for a little while there. Which, you know what, I'm fine with. Although Ethereum mining difficulty is going up, when the price drops down to that 2,500 range, you definitely can still mine more Ethereum when that price goes down. So we'll see if it tops up, goes back up above 3,000, then it starts to get harder and harder. Moving on, Doge not doing well. .133. Algorand at .866. Polkadot 18.9. And XRP at .77. Interesting what's happening in the invasion of Ukraine by Putin and Russia is the SWIFT. The SWIFT ban that the United States, Europe, and other powers around the world have put into place. SWIFT basically just gets the communication sorted out for financial transactions. It's not the actual financial mechanism used. But it's going to create a lot of problems for Russia. Obviously, I believe they're still going to allow oil transactions from Russia to go through, because Russia is basically just a hyped up massive gas station. It's been that way for a long time. And the interesting thing about SWIFT is that XRP is competing directly in that market internationally. And there's basically the digital equivalent that should take SWIFT over. There's even talks of even XRP doing just that, or some type of agreement. That transition has to happen soon. SWIFT is very archaic. It's an old, archaic system, and XRP has already provided the new digital equivalent, cryptocurrency equivalent, to replace it. And with the US's SEC case, it's obviously holding XRP down. But really, if Russia wanted to get around the SWIFT ban, I mean, they could easily use XRP. They could buy up a XRP with their billions they've made in oil, with the oil reserves that they have. Oil's going up. Last year, a lot of people were trying to figure out when's oil going to hit 100. Already has. Some people were saying by summer, but it's already February and it's already hit. Let me check actually. Price of barrel crude oil. Let's see. The current month is September, blah, blah, blah. The current price of WTI crude oil as of February 25th is $92.81. So, it's close. At least for WTI. There's a whole all different kinds of crude oil prices. But, yeah, it's getting close to 100. I thought it already hit, but it's getting real close. Probably going to go up, maybe up to 120, 140, 150. It's possible. And the Biden administration, first thing Biden did when he got into office, first day, was get rid of that pipeline from Canada down in the United States. Would have provided easy, efficient, cost-effective way to get oil to the United States. That's gone. He's doing everything he can to try to force people to adopt electric cars, fracking, not doing anything in Alaska with oil. And now we have our current predicament. It's almost as if he was bought and paid for to do this. And basically be subservient to both Russia and China. Obviously, Hunter Biden had some dealings with Ukraine, so we're going to be going over that in the next Canuck and Yankee show this Sunday. Under the Obama administration in Ukraine, there was basically a coup, and Obama installed puppet regime, and NATO's been doing everything they can to intimidate Putin, and I think he kind of finally lost his marbles. But we'll be going over all of that this Sunday, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on the Canuck and Yankee show. And cryptocurrency, of course, playing center stage now, both with the Canadian trucker convoy with crypto assets trying to be seized, and now also with the Ukraine invasion. There's some news out of Ukraine. Both Ukraine's trying to prevent Russia from using cryptocurrencies to get around SWIFT and all that, and Russia's trying to keep Ukraine from leveraging crypto. So it's a very aggressive situation. It's making it a lot harder for cryptos to be adopted. There really needs to be a new model where you don't have this. You don't have exchanges. You don't have people holding their crypto on exchanges where it can be easily. Well, not easily, but at least it's easy in some ways to seize it at the exchange level, which obviously is illegal. And I think everybody in the crypto markets really needs to start looking at, as we move forward, moving your crypto, at least certain amounts of it, off the exchanges. I mean, obviously you want to have something on the exchanges. There's a lot of you can take money out and use crypto as collateral. So there's stuff like that, but at the same time, your crypto is not safe with these exchanges because the regulation is not there, and these governments, Canada's trying to seize funds. They'll just go right to the exchange. I'll have the story in a little bit, but Ukraine's trying to force the major exchanges like Coinbase and others to prevent Russia from leveraging crypto. So it's a big battle now being fought. Crypto's finally mainstream, and I think it's going to take a while before things level out, but really do need a new model that keeps an individual's or company's crypto safe, because right now on the exchanges it's not. There's no insurance. You're susceptible to hacks. Finishing up with the rest of the Crypto Watch desktop here app, Crypto Tracker. Chainlink is at 15.128. Ergo at 3.14. Definitely want to start looking into mining some more Ergo. Ergo is not, obviously not, it's not a top 5 or most profitable. It's not up there, but it is a mining coin. It is still, for the most part, they still care about miners. It's not like Ethereum where they're going to proof of stake, or at least trying to. And yeah, I'm gonna look at mining some more Ergo because I can get a lot of hash power. I think I could do 500, 600 mega hash, maybe a little bit more. with a few more cards, maybe even 1,000, and I could accrue a decent amount in a week or two, and then I'm looking at possibly, doing some live streams and gifting out Ergo to people who want to learn about crypto, do the actual transfer wallet to wallet. I have set up Jacob. Jacob is the guy who founded Variant News with me a few years back. He's been on some of the streams. He's also working on a music festival, but I got him set up with a MetaMask wallet, and we got some test Ethereum on the Ropstein network sent to him just to make sure everything was kosher, everything was working. We're gonna do a live stream soon in the next week or so, and I'll send him something. I got to figure out probably Ergo. Don't really want to send my Ethereum because I just want to hold on to whatever Ethereum I have, but I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll send him some Doge. I don't want my Doge anyway. I just bought it. I bought Doge because it was cheap, and I need crypto to help me test at the production level, the mainnet level, on the crypto wallet app that I'm working on, and that'd be cool. That'd be cool just to do a test on a live stream. I think that's pretty much. Oh yeah, Cardano. This is the one I wanted to get to. Cardano is at .971, so it's below $1, and I've got an article. I think it's Crypto Briefing. Let me check it out here. Yeah, CryptoBriefing.com saying they believe Cardano is going to crash and go down to .5. So they're seeing issues. They don't think that Cardano is getting the leverage that it needs. It's kind of losing its foothold, but I don't know. I think it's pretty a solidly built crypto platform. Ergo also has linked up with Cardano. There's wallets you can get now. They both they both have support for Cardano and Ergo, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be working on it. You should be able to easily transfer Ergo into your Cardano and vice versa, Cardano back into Ergo. They've made an announcement a little while back that they are linking up together and providing efficiency for those transfers. So I was happy to see that. All right, get into the media viewer. I'm gonna belt through a bunch of son of a tech videos, and I've got some articles from CoinDesk, Crypto Briefing. I think there's one other site, so might as well belt it out here. Another site, so might as well. Just gotta check something real quick. Get this monitor set up. All right. And I finally got my bandwidth updated. Unfortunately, my broadband provider is not that good. But I only was at 100 megabit per second down, and I was getting 10 megabit up if I was lucky. The upload definitely is weak. I just upgraded just before I went on the live with the stream. I just upgraded my package. It's basically going to be $100. Maybe a little bit more than $100 with the taxes, but I'm getting 450 megabit down solid. But the upload from the sales associate said upload should be around 10% of what download is, so I should be getting around 45 megabit up, but I'm not getting anything close to that. I don't know what's going on. I'm only getting around 5 megabit up if I'm lucky. I am mining on a 6 GPU farm unit, and then just one cheap Dell that has an RX 580 in it. Those two work farms or whatever are uploading and connecting to ethermine.org, but they should not be taking up much bandwidth. And I'm looking into, I'm going to see if I've got an old Mac Pro from 2008. I think it weighs to like 4,000 pounds. It's got 2 Ethernet ports, so I'm going to look at maybe even just like testing out running some form of Linux or something, some type of network-tuned Linux on a USB stick to start on the Mac Pro, and see if I can get some kind of decent software-based router and monitor all the host devices on my local area network, so I can see in real time which each device is upload and download. And might even do a stream on that, on how that's done, the basics of it, how it looks, because you know, if you're streaming, you gotta monitor everything that's happening on the local area network. So let me get into the top stories. I guess we'll start with the Cardano doom and gloom article from CryptoBriefing.com. Cardano continues to tread downwards as it struggles to find a significant support level. And this should have been posted. Well, this is a little bit old, but February 22nd. Cardano has breached a crucial support level. Any sign of weakness could trigger a sell-off at a risk plummeting toward 50 cents. Cardano is more than 74% short of its all-time high of $3.16 recorded in early September 2021. Although Otto's downtrend has been significant enough, on-chain and technical indexes point to further losses on the horizon. Cardano appears to have lost critical support level, which may result in a steep correction. The so-called Ethereum killer has lost more than 35% of its market value over the last 2 weeks, retracing from a high of $1.26 on February 8th to hitting a new yearly low of $0.81. Despite the significant losses incurred, ADA could be bound for another downsize. Into the blocks in out of the money around price model reveals that Cardano has breached a vital demand barrier. Nearly 63,700 addresses have previously purchased over 1.4 billion ADA at an average price of $0.96. Now that prices have dipped below the support zone, signs of weakness could encourage market participants to sell their holdings to avoid seeing their investments go further into the red. As the IO map indicates, that Cardano does not have any significant support barrier underneath it. Another spike in the downward pressure could cause a dramatic downturn. From a technical perspective, the bearish thesis prevails as the 7th largest cryptocurrency by market cap has lost the 100-week moving average as support. Though the current weekly candlestick is yet to close below this trend-following indicator, already provides a very pessimistic outlook. 200-week moving average represents the next support level at .50. So we'll see, but let me check something. So Cardano blockchain project was founded by Charles Hoskinson, who was also a co-founder of Ethereum, and I think there was one other person who I can't remember now, but they also left Ethereum and started their own new crypto platform. But I think the fundamentals are good for Cardano. I don't know. If it does dip to .5, I mean, that's pretty good. You could buy up a boatload of it. I think it has a long-term future. But you know, all cryptos are. We're not seeing if crypto markets continue the way they're at now, we're not going to have the gains that we had last year. I mean, especially Ethereum. Ethereum actually crushed it last year. It was in a 900,000 range, I believe, at the start of last year, and hit an all-time high in around the 4,500 range. And now it's just been hovering between 2,000 and 3,500 all year. We're only 2 months into the year, but moving on. I'm gonna move to some Son of Tech videos. There's a bunch of them here. I'm just trying to belt through some of these because there's some good ones. I think I'm going to start with the tax one. I haven't been able to review all of these videos, but Son of Tech does a really good job at covering the mining industry. He does a lot of mining and has a lot of good input on what to mine. He mines a large variety of cryptos, so he does a lot of the work that you can analyze, because it's a real pain trying to learn a new crypto to mine. So his analysis is pretty good. So let's check out the first one, lack of clarity on crypto taxes. It's a 20-minute video, so I'm just going to jump around on this and try to get to the most pertinent stuff.
Much earlier guidance from FinCEN on anti-money laundering policy. Much earlier guidance
that
from the
was
SEC
completely muted. I'm going to start
court.
that over. Let me just start from. Yeah, I'm just going to start that over. Sorry about that.
It's a minefield as the IRS leaves key questions unresolved. This is coming from CoinDesk. Lack of guidance on everything from staking rewards to NFTs means there's a certain amount of guesswork involved in tax filings. This piece is part of CoinDesk's Tax Week. The old saw about taxes being one of life's two certainties is only partially true for crypto investors in the United States. While there's little argument that gains and losses associated with cryptocurrency transactions are taxable, there is little certainty about which taxes apply to different kinds of transactions and when. Rob Garver is a longtime Washington, D.C. journalist who has written for American Banker, Fiscal Times, Voice of America, and ProPublica. While some U.S. regulators, such as the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, have tried to be proactive in providing guidance to the industry about how they plan to treat crypto assets, the International Revenue Service has so far offered relatively little guidance on some of the most pressing issues facing investors and traders. Tax policy is by far the area of U.S. policy that's the furthest behind as far as having sensible, easy to follow rules for people in the space, said Peter Van Valkenburg, director of research at industry lobbying group Coin Center. We saw much earlier guidance from FinCEN on anti-money laundering policy, much earlier guidance from the SEC on initial coin offerings. The IRS, when it has issued guidance, it has been basically late, perennially late. I don't know why I can't do that today, but it's par for the course. And that guidance has generally been more confusing than helpful. The IRS did not respond to a request for comment for this story. Kristen Smith, the executive director of the Blockchain Association, put it a tad more diplomatically. Quote, "This is a very fast-moving space, and the IRS and Treasury Department have been trying to wrap their heads around it," end quote, she said.
Okay, so that basically means that the IRS is completely clueless on cryptocurrency. They don't understand it, and they have no idea what to do. I've got, and I should update this with what I can, but there's not much more I think I can update. I'm going to put it into the chat, but this is what I have as starting section for crypto-related legislation in U.S. And there's a bill, part of the infrastructure bills that passed last year in Congress. There's a section 6724, and that basically labeled crypto developers as brokers and miners, obviously the exchanges, but it didn't. That was pretty much it. It was just a labeling of who are brokers in the crypto industry. I couldn't find any other legislation concerning how it'll be taxed. But I think it might help to look at how India's starting to move faster than the United States on crypto legislation. And from what I've been hearing, they're going to be doing pretty severe penalty for crypto tax, somewhere in the 30% range. But I don't think that's officially been put into legislation or law. But I'll take a look at that for a future stream. But I think, without a doubt, India will be first, one of the biggest countries, if not the biggest country, to first solidify serious crypto legislation, tax regulation. And the United States is going to look at that and probably mimic it. And it's possible. It's possible that when they eventually do figure this out, it could be in the 30% range. It's possible, but with everything happening, the Canadian trucker convoy, Canada's appears to be ahead of the United States with issuing a central bank digital currency. But they've had the freezing of crypto assets. You now have the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and both countries, Russia, SWIFT being banned. So Russia could be looking at cryptocurrency. Ukraine's trying to leverage it, but the price of Tether has skyrocketed there. And there's not the regulations not in place for any of this to happen. So because these governments just keep dragging their feet, it's really a bad situation to have crypto, and this regulation's not in place because anything could happen. We'll have to see, and who knows? I mean, they could even create some kind of regulation that is goes back goes back in time a year or two, who knows what they're going to do.
The agency was actually ahead of other regulators when, in 2014, it offered guidance that classified convertible virtual currency, the Beltway term for what most people call crypto, as property. However, progress has stalled since then, and the issue has begun piling up. Smith said the industry generally thinks the IRS is operating in good faith, if more slowly than most would prefer. Quote, "These are obviously people that don't have deep crypto backgrounds," end quote, she said. "But I think they have taken a lot of effort to try to understand the space." Congress getting involved in taxing crypto. If the IRS is moving slowly out of an abundance of caution or at worst bureaucratic inertia, that may be preferable to the alternative, as evidenced by what happened when members of Congress pushed crypto-related language into the bipartisan infrastructure bill that became law in November. I actually am not sure it's bipartisan. I just want to say that. I want to go on the record saying I don't think that bill was bipartisan.
No, I think the bill was drafted by Democrats. I mean, that was the majority of it. And yeah, as you can see here, a very broad definition of what a broker is, including cryptocurrency developers and miners. But there's no other clarification after that. So obviously, they're going to have to revisit all of this year. I mean, we're almost in the second quarter, and not even hearing anything out of Congress that they're even looking into this again, but they have to do something. Because cryptos are now mainstream, and the regulation is not there. They're just falling farther and farther behind. And we, like as I've been saying, there really needs to be something to help secure crypto at the account level, because cannot rely on these exchanges. Wallet to wallet transfers are the best way to go. Obviously, you want to keep your crypto as secure as possible. Get it on a hardware wallet. These exchanges are all in jeopardy, being seized by a government entity, hackers, and they're not providing any regulation for this. We may not see anything until the fall, at least here in the U.S. And as I said, India, I think, is going to get to crypto legislation before the U.S. So that'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
But in an effort to bring in more tax revenue from crypto traders, lawmakers created a requirement that cryptocurrency brokers report their clients' trading activity to the IRS. Unfortunately, the legislative language was drafted quickly and with little input from the industry, leading to a definition of broker that is so broad that industry representatives warn it could encompass wallet software developers and even cryptocurrency miners. However, as you guys know, we reported on this before, crypto miners in particular, legislative language was drafted.
So what's important there in this next paragraph, as you can see, the Treasury Department will have to draft implementing regulations before the law goes into effect in 2024, and in doing so, it could narrow the range of entities that qualify as a broker. In a letter to lawmakers made public February 11th, the agency appeared to signal that crypto miners and stakers at least will not be considered brokers under the pending rule. So there you have it. That's at least some updated information. So the law not going into effect, according to this, until 2024. So at least there's no signs of them trying to do some kind of... I don't... Normally they can't. It's very difficult to do that, but any kind of like retroactive weirdness where you're going to have to go back years and they try to get crypto transactions from years past. So hopefully it just stays in the future, so you're safe with what you have done now with your crypto.
Drafted quickly and with little input from the industry, leading to a definition of broker that is so broad that industry representatives warn it could encompass wallet software developers and even cryptocurrency miners. However, as you guys know, we reported on this before, crypto miners in particular are now exempt from these reporting mechanisms. They no longer have to report, the users of the transactions that they validated. So we don't have to do that anymore. Also, it's physically impossible for us to do that as miners. So it just goes to show that there's a complete lack of understanding and research being done by the federal government in the United States on cryptocurrency. They have no idea what they're doing. All right, that's just the plain fact of it at this point. The Treasury Department will have to draft implementing regulations before the law goes into effect in 2024. And in doing so, it could narrow the range of entities that qualify as a broker. In a letter to lawmakers made public February 11th, the agency appeared to signal that crypto miners and stakers, at least, will not be considered brokers under the pending rule. Quote, I don't think that the intention of the law and the IRS is to capture miners, for example, or stakers, said Omri Marion, a professor of law and the academic director of the graduate tax program at the University of California, Irvine School of Law. However, he said it would be a useful sign of goodwill for the IRS to reach out to the crypto community during the rulemaking process. Quote, I think that mostly what is needed there is to lower the tension a bit and explain who is and isn't the broker for reporting purposes. Some members of the Congress have signaled that they understand that the industry's concerns and are open to passing new legislation that would limit the definition of broker to an actual cryptocurrency exchange that facilitates transactions. However, given the deep divisions in Congress, it is unclear what the chances really are of such a bill passing.
We'll have to see. I mean, that's obviously be a good scenario. They just keep the definition of broker and exchange. Or want to go back to wallet transfers. I mean, I'm working right now on wallet transfers. Creating wallets, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum. Cardano's a bit of a pain. We have to actually run nodes to create a wallet, it looks like. But we're supporting a bunch of tokens. I'm actually looking at Binance Chain, which is a pain also. I got Tron working. Was able to create a Tron wallet. So, with software, you could basically just, all you need is a wallet address, and you can transfer from wallet to wallet anywhere and create that transaction, and you shouldn't be labeled as a broker for that. But that whole model needs to be solidified, and built out, become more robust, especially for the trucker protests, Ukraine conflict. The wallet-to-wallet transfers work, and like the Canadian protesters could have why they were using the exchanges, I don't know. They could have used a software wallet, hardware wallet, and gone from one wallet to the other, completely bypassing the exchange. That's the only safe way of doing it, and there shouldn't be any tax implications for that, because also these policies just don't understand crypto, so I don't think it would be under threat of taxation.
Wait, crypto is cash now? The same infrastructure bill that created the broker reporting requirement added another twist to the government's tax treatment of cryptocurrencies. After years of being told their Bitcoin and Ether are property and not currency, the new law created an exception. Under existing law, any person engaged in trade or business who receives $10,000 or more in cash in exchange for goods or services is obligated to report that transaction. The report, which includes identifying information about the individual who made the payment, goes to the IRS and FinCEN. The new law classifies cryptocurrencies as cash for purposes of that reporting requirement. Because of the way the law is drafted, reports on crypto transactions of more than $10,000 would only need to go to the IRS. But that hasn't made industry participants any less concerned about the effect it could have on some sectors of the cryptocurrency space. The problem is that in many cases, cryptocurrency transactions are functionally anonymous, meaning the individual of the receiving end of a transaction may not have access to the kinds of personal identifiable information about the sender the IRS wants to collect, or vice versa. And it should stay that way. And we're going to be talking about the push now. I think what you're going to see is a realization of the governments and the banking system, traditional financial institutions, that they can't control everything within cryptocurrency because of the nature of decentralization, which is what we're pushing to. And so at that point, what they're going to try to do is discourage any type of self-custody, etc. Example coming up in the next article.
So yeah, that's the issue. So basically, if you have a wallet, you have a MetaMask wallet, whatever, it's just a wallet address. That's it. You don't have to have any personally identifiable information tied to that. It's just a wallet address. You can create it, and there is no personally identifiable information tied to that wallet. And you can then transfer to any other wallet that's not going to have any personally identifiable information to it. And who's to say that's the nature of cryptocurrency? That's how it was built, to be decentralized like that and have that layer of anonymity. But obviously, the government can't stand that because they can't tax it, they can't regulate it, they want to have full control. And that's the fight that we're looking at here. And I think a lot of this is going to unfold this year. As I said, the Ukraine invasion, Canadian protests. There'll be future protests. People want to fund future protests. People need to just start transferring wallet to wallet. I don't know why that needs to start happening now. Before. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, it depends on how successful the government is in taking things out. So we'll see what Scientific has on possible plans the government has to try to seize the aspect of self-custodial wallets.
Additionally, many crypto transactions take place under circumstances that make it very difficult to assess who could be responsible. There we go. And if a smart contract running on a decentralized exchange accepts $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, who would file that report? One of the perennial frustrations of people who would like to use cryptocurrencies as a medium of exchange is the tax treatment of the virtual currency as property. Means that virtually every transaction, no matter how small, amounts to a taxable event. When someone holding Bitcoin uses it to make a purchase, the IRS views the transfer of Bitcoin from the buyer to the seller as a disposition of an investment, triggering capital gains taxes. Even the mining fees incurred when transferring Bitcoin between the two wallets.
So anyway, Hippie, I'm sorry. Hippie says in the chat, what do you think of the Cake wallet or the Trust wallet? I just looked them up now because I have not heard of them yet. But just taking a look at what I see here, Cake wallet supports Monero, Bitcoin, and Litecoin. I'm not sure if they support. They probably support. Here we go. So they can easily Cake wallet can easily exchange XMR, BTC, ADA, or Cardano, BCH, which is Bitcoin Cash, BND. I'm not sure of. DAI, Dash, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, LTC, TRX, Tron. I was just I just created a Tron wallet in the software project that I'm working on. USDT, which I imagine is Tether. It's kind of hard to... it's always confusing, the symbol for Tether. ERC20, so basically all ERC20 tokens, that's... Oh, I see. USDT ERC20. All right. So an ERC20 stable token, XLM and XRP. I don't know. It looks interesting, Hippie. I like that it supports a nice wide range of tokens, at least for Cake Wallet. Let me see what. I'm not seeing on the home page what Trust Wallet. Supports. It says usually they all support Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't know how I don't know how new these wallets are. Definitely do some more research on them, because the newer something is in the crypto markets, the more you should do your research. But yeah, I might check these out. They would help me out with the crypto wallet that I'm working on. I just opened up an Exodus wallet, and that supports a lot of tokens. And what was the other one? I think it's a Chrome extension. What's it called again? Yoro, YOROI. But that only supports Ergo and Cardano. But I started mining Ergo to the Yoro wallet. But interesting. The Cake wallets and Trust Wallet. Thanks for passing those on, Hippie. I'll definitely take a look at those, make note of them. But this is the first I'm hearing of them. Definitely need to do more research. Let me find where the hell I was here.
Wallets held by the same individual are technically taxable, and that's under the income tax rule. Some, just for a note for you crypto miners out there, some, like Kirk Phillips, a certified public accountant and managing director of Global Crypto Advisors, say the administrative burden of tracking even the tiniest of transactions are standing in the way of cryptocurrencies becoming a more widely used medium of exchange. Quote, there are definitely people who have changed their behavior based on how it ends up getting taxed and having to go through the compliance gauntlet, he said. It's a major headache. There is a bill before Congress that would create what's known as a de minimis exemption for small transactions. The Virtual Currency Tax Fairness Act, sponsored by Republican Susan Delbene of Washington State, a Democrat representative, Susan Delbene of Washington State, a Democrat, let me get that correct there for you guys, would exempt from capital gains taxes all crypto transactions in which the capital gains realized is under $200. So let's see, sponsored by her, would exempt capital gains taxes. So that's a good move. Got it. However, despite the fact that the bill has broad support in the crypto community.
Hold on, I just want to go back here. What's known as a de minimis exemption for small transaction. Exempt. All right, that's interesting. I mean, keep your capital gain, your realized capital gains under $200, and you'll be exempt. But obviously, this is not officially law or anything.
Exempt capital gains taxes. So that's a good move. Got it. However, despite the fact that the bill has broad support in the crypto community and has bipartisan backing in the House of Representatives, its chances of enactment are unclear. This is the third Congress in which the bill has been introduced, and to date, there is no similar legislation pending in the Senate. Whew. Taxation and staking rewards. One of the more pressing issues facing the industry, given the increasing preference for proof of stake mining, is how staking rewards ought to be taxed. Let me give you an idea. You tax it like you do the miners. You greedy mother. And if you don't, then you reverse the way you're taxing miners. God dang, you greedy stakers. The basic question is whether the cryptocurrency that a validator receives a reward for appending a block to a proof of stake blockchain is taxable as income when it is received. Historically, yes, any validation on the blockchain has been charging the miners, oh, it makes me so mad, as an income tax. Stakers are no different. Or whether there is no taxable event until the validator disposes of the currency. In a lawsuit filed in Tennessee, Joshua and Jessica Jarrett, we reported on this last week, a couple who run a validator on the Tezos blockchain, sued the IRS over taxes paid on staking rewards earned in 2019. The Jarretts argued that his receipt of the rewards ought not to have been considered a taxable event. Rather than fight the case in court, the IRS offered early this month to refund the taxes the couple had paid, though without offering any clarity on how it would treat staking rewards in the future. The Jarretts rejected the offer in a move aimed at forcing the courts to resolve the question of how to treat staking rewards. Hey guys, you had to pay income taxes. We've been doing it for years. So either if this goes all the way through and they decide to change the way they treat staking over mining, mining has to be included in this. And then all of us as miners have to go sue the IRS for all of our income taxes we paid on mining for the past, whatever. I'm 6 years in. How far in are you? Because that's going to happen. All right. The resulting situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That the whole retroactive aspect of things. You know, as these governments, especially in the United States, keep dragging their feet on crypto legislation. Everybody in the crypto markets, from miners to people on the exchanges purchasing crypto, staking. This could retroactively go back the whole length of your interactions with crypto. I mean, mine goes back to 2017. So it's really just, it puts everything in limbo. Everything's in this limbo like abyss. And it's really hurting the industry and not allowing it to mature.
As a representative of much of the tax treatment of crypto transactions, in the absence of clear rules from the IRS, individuals are having to make the best guesses about how they think the agency will treat different transactions. Quote, I am only dealing with a limited number of taxpayers, but I don't know of anybody that's actually withholding on staking rewards, said Lisa, a partner of the Washington office of the law firm Steptoe and Johnson. If the IRS position is that they should be subject to withholding, I don't think it's happening. She said that in general, taxpayers she works with are making a good faith effort to comply with tax laws by reporting income when they believe it makes sense to report it. This could all hit the fan if the IRS starts auditing these transactions and taking positions that are different from what taxpayers are taking, she said. Then it could have a stifling effect. However, she said that as a practical matter, it seems unlikely the IRS would implement some sort of retroactive crackdown that would penalize people who report income in a way the agency subsequently determined to be incorrect. I would be surprised if they started imposing penalties on people because they didn't comply, because there were no rules to comply with, she said. What they're more concerned about are non-reporters, people who aren't reporting their income from crypto transactions at all.
Yeah, so that's a nasty gray area. You know, if you're reporting, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin and then I sold it in the last highs of whatever it was, 2017, around there, 2017, 2018. And I paid around 11% in tax. But there was I don't think there was much of anything on the books. I don't think there was for any kind of specific crypto tax legislation. But if you're at least reporting it, it's going to be very difficult for the IRS to retroactively go back and do something really severe, because they dropped the ball and never made the policies known. So that's obviously very unfair. But if you're not reporting anything at all, and when they finally do get to a point of like full regulation for crypto, that could be an issue. But obviously, it's gonna be hard for IRS to track down all of those people. But who knows? Monero, Pirate Chain, the anonymity-based ones, those are interesting too, and wondering what's going to happen when full crypto legislation, tax legislation comes into effect for those.
Below the radar. While there may not be much clarity on the tax treatment of staking rewards, at the least, the crypto community can feel confident the issue is on the IRS radar. The same can't be said for multiple other issues. Consider, for example, the market of non-fungible tokens, NFTs, which reached more than $44 billion in sales in 2021.
NFTs are great. Obviously, many people have no idea what the hell they are, and they think they're garbage. They think they're just gonna collapse. Many people think the whole market's gonna collapse. There is an argument for that, because NFTs are absolutely extremely hyperinflated. You know, people are there's a small percentage of people that are making money on it. But you know, I heard about this one guy. He had an NFT, like an avatar, profile artwork, piece of artwork that he's going to use as his profile image, basically, while he's online, you know, with social media. And I believe someone offered him, I think, in excess of over $3 million for it, and he said no. He wanted to claim ownership of it, because that's his digital identity. So the people that are into these NFTs, that are digging deep into them, I mean, for someone to not take that much money for it, just to have this digital avatar for themselves, tells you something on how diehard some of these people are with NFTs. But they're extremely inflated, and I think there's got to be some kind of correction, because you can't. It's just too expensive right now. There's way too much hype. Things are gonna have. There's gonna have to be some kind of correction. Something's got to get reset, because it's completely out of control.
According to the blockchain data firm Chain Analysis, a large segment of the market is made up of pieces of digital art or the bragging rights thereof. While new collectors may be content for the time being to stare at their digital galleries of Bored Apes and Hashmash, eventually many are going to want to sell their NFTs or get them stolen on OpenSea. You know what I mean? When that happens, how the IRS will treat any...
Yeah, OpenSea seems like it's the biggest NFT marketplace now online. I don't know. Has anybody in the chat used OpenSea? I was trying to work on... I've got some artwork I want to create NFTs out of. I mean, it sounds like OpenSea is the biggest market, but there's all these security concerns, and so it's the most well-known and has the biggest target on its back.
Any profit they realize is an open question. Regular long-term capital gains taxes in the U.S., which apply to the sale of investments held for more than a year, max out at 20%. But there is a special carve-out for property classified as collectibles, a category that includes fine art, that tops out at 28%. So NFTs top out at 28%. It's the same.
Just going to check out OpenSea real quick. I haven't had time to really check it out, but so it's just going to explore. It's kind of crazy stuff. I wonder if it gives pricing. So this is Meta Adventure Official, created by Metagaming Official. Volume traded is 2.1 million. There's 9,500 items. and 4,700 owners. So this is some of the stuff. This one here goes for current price is $738. Just check out maybe one or two others, maybe just one more. But yeah, OpenSea looks like it's establishing itself as the largest, most used NFT marketplace. If you guys know of anything on here you want me to look up, I can check it out. Here's the apes. I don't know why, but the ape meme with NFTs is ridiculous. So this is the Hape Prime. Has volume traded at close to 50,000. Floor price is 2. Owners are close to 6,000. There's over 8,000 items. All right, so how much does one of these guys cost? It's the same ape with just variations in color. It looks like I don't know, this guy looks weird enough, I guess. Wow. So Hape Prime, this is Hape number 2043, and the minimum bid reserve price not met, but it's saying $6,269. This is what I'm talking about, where NFTs are way hyperinflated. They cost way too much. I mean, next generation high fashion Hapes. I don't even think this thing is like an animated GIF, or I don't even think it has any kind of like programming ability of it. You know, with all these NFT artwork, as a developer, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. You can bring data in through an API into your artwork, have real-time data. You could have the artwork change throughout the day based on parameters. Anything you can do with code, you can program it into an NFT. But from what I've seen so far, I haven't seen anyone pressing the limits of that, or pressing the boundaries of that. And that's what I personally want to get into is take a piece of artwork and literally programming it and have it be dynamic throughout the day, so it's constantly changing. But it doesn't look like that does that. But I'm going to spend some more time checking out OpenSea, just to get a better idea of what's out there. But for the most part, a lot of them are just very basic, and they just have different variations in color of the same thing. But these apes obviously are very popular and expensive for some reason.
That's how I see it. To date, the IRS has been silent on the question of whether NFTs ought to be treated as collectibles, creating the disconcerting possibility that the question...
I'm going to take a look at the chat. Hippie605 says, Cake Wallet is an older school Monero wallet, not a Pancake wallet. Looks like this Trust wallet is pretty ERC20. Off the Cuff News says, Centric, which I'm not, also full feature, but not things I personally need. Looks promising. Oh, it's a sell-only app. Yeah, I definitely don't like sell-only crypto wallets. I'd much rather, I'd tell you the truth, I'd rather just do desktop. I don't like the security issues around a sell-only crypto wallet. I mean, you're carrying your phone around all the time. You have the wallet on your phone. You could lose your phone, depending on what you put in place for security measures. I mean, it's easy to hack into, if you know what you're doing, into iOS and Android. You just call up the NSO group in Israel, and they'll give you hacks to get into any device. If you have the money, of course. Anywhere it says Monero is on Exodus wallet as well. And if he says, okay, I'll have to check that wallet out also. Hippie says, yes, I do not put all crypto on one wallet. Do they have Solano crypto? cavemen. Yeah, I'm also in search of a decent Solana wallet. We don't have plans right now for the crypto wallet I'm working on for Solana, but hopefully when we get the app released, we're definitely going to put support for Solana on there. Off the cuff news says, any word? Yes, but you can't do anonymous swaps with Exodus in Monero. Not that I know anything about that. Yeah. I think anonymous swaps should be left anonymous. Off the cuff news says, don't get me wrong, I love Exodus as desktop multi-coin wallet. It's been my favorite since 2017. And anywhere it says, if you're using Solana Phantom is the wallet to use. What do you search for? Just Phantom wallet? Because I'm compiling a list of all the wallets I got to get around to setting up. Oh, here we go. I'll post it in the chat. Here it is, phantom.app. It looks like it's a sell-only app. Let me know if it's not. But let me put that in my list of wallets. Check out. Thank you very much.
Of whether NFTs constitute real art might be determined in tax court. Another area where existing rules are creating confusion is around the tax status of individuals who trade cryptocurrencies for a living. Under the law, an individual who buys and sells stocks and securities can claim trader status when they file their taxes, allowing them to deduct business expenses from their trading gains and offering a number of other benefits. The problem, said Shannon Sheehan, there we go, Chandraskera, I can't do that, boys. Head of tax strategy at cointracker.io, a portfolio and tax management service, is the statutory language appears to limit trader status to individuals who sell stocks and securities, not property as crypto is classified. Quote, for people who are legitimately day trading cryptocurrencies, the question is whether they should rely on those code sections that are written for stocks and securities to get those tax benefits, end quote, he said. Because if you can get that trader status, that's going to save you so much money in taxes. They struggle because it's only applicable to stocks and securities, but at the same time, it's unfair for them to not get that treatment because they're actual traders of cryptocurrencies, except that they don't want individual financial autonomy. Look, even if you Google financial autonomy, you never see financial autonomy applied to the individual on Google. That is the thing that no government, governing body, or traditional financial institution wants you to know that you can possibly obtain. And what helps you obtain that is cryptocurrency. And these kinds of policies and the way they're playing with it, the reason they're not sure is because they want to figure out how they can control that and take away that individual autonomy from you. That's what they want to do. This neither here nor there status for crypto traders is analogous to the tax treatment of crypto assets more broadly. It's a situation that frustrates advocates pushing for more clarity from the government, especially because it contributes to the impression the crypto space is a sort of Wild West where the normal rules don't apply. There's a myth that crypto people don't want to pay taxes. Coin Center's Van said, I think the vast majority of people in crypto, just like the vast majority of Americans, just want clear rules to know what their tax obligations are so that April isn't a nightmare. Yes and no. So we don't want to pay exorbitant taxes, right? But we would do,
and as I mentioned earlier in the stream, from what I'm gathering, India is going to be absolutely brutal with their crypto tax legislation, possibly 30%, taking 30% of a capital gain like take on crypto overall transactions, what have you. So if India goes and does that, I mean, the United States is going to sit back and watch that. But hopefully here stateside it's not as brutal. Well, we'll have to see. Have to see if officially what India does.
We do want to know what's expected. Look, even if you disagree with something, like let's say you disagree with a law, right? There's plenty of those laws that are out there, whatever they may be. At least you have a law to where you understand what you can and can't do, right? Like in California, I know I can go into a store and steal $900 worth of stuff and I'm free and clear. Steal $901 worth of stuff and I can go to jail. There you go. Clear law. I understand where the lines are drawn. Just give us the laws, right? Freaking mad world up in her. So,
all right, I have an article. This is dated February 7th. And let's check it out because I've been talking about India here. Fortune.com. India could have treated Bitcoin earnings as capital gains. Instead, it's taxing crypto like horse racing. India's crypto community is split over government plans announced last week to tax the volatile virtual asset the same way it taxes winnings from another speculative jaunt, horse racing. We've now put in a taxation framework that treats crypto assets the same way we treat winnings from horse races. I don't know why they're doing this, but it makes no sense. Or from bets and other speculative transactions. India Finance Secretary TV Samanthan told Bloomberg last week after the finance ministry proposed a 30% capital gains tax on cryptocurrency earnings. The tax will take effect in the next financial year, starting April 1st. So this is posted this year, February 7th, 2022. So it looks like it's set for next year at a whopping 30% capital gains. Fans of cryptocurrency say the new tax plan has one upside. Taxing crypto suggests the government might regulate cryptocurrencies rather than ban them outright, as ministers have previously indicated. But there's a downside too. The government plans to treat cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin as a wild gamble, a characterization crypto enthusiasts reject. There are significant myths surrounding cryptocurrencies, equating them to gambling. I think a general lack of understanding the potential of blockchain technology. Come on, they're just using the horse race, comparing it to horse betting because they want to tax the shit out of it, make lots of money. Indian government wants to, take in all that cash. So this is, the United States is going to sit back and see and look at this, and let's hope that they don't get into that 30% range that India's doing. But I wanted to just mention that. This video is pretty much done. I might as well finish it. I mean, we belted through the whole thing. So let's finish Son of a Tech here.
That pretty much covers the tax topic for the week. From the miner's perspective, we are going to be reporting income taxes, mined cryptocurrency as income. Because of the case with the IRS and the staking rewards of that couple, it should be noted that essentially, depending on how this gets pressed when it goes to court, if that gets overthrown, then it needs to be overthrown for miners. End of story, period. And all the miners need to sue for back taxes for the past, since the inception of cryptocurrency mining.
I'm going to finish this video up. But taking a look at the chat, anywhere it says if using Solana, Phantom Wallet is a wallet to use. It's similar to MetaMask. Has a browser extension. I use the Phantom Brave browser extension. That's another thing. I think people should definitely, if you're using crypto wallet browser extensions, probably best to stay away from Chrome because of security-related issues. I would imagine you're probably better off with Brave. But I'm going to be looking at moving more towards Firefox, but I got to do some more research. I definitely think Firefox is probably a little bit better as far as security-wise than Chrome. Chrome has just become a complete mess. Anywhere goes on to say automatic connection to Solana's dexes like Orca and Tulip. Solana Dex is coming out in December. Nothing beats the user friendliness of Solana and Phantom Wallet. So thanks for that info. And let me see. Might do one more Son of a Tech video. You know what? I want to check out this one here because this is really what's at stake and what's been happening with
Let's
these
go ahead
current,
and talk
current events that's been happening. Canadian trucker convoy, where they were trying to seize crypto assets on the exchanges, and now with the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine is trying to leverage crypto, and at the same time, now Ukraine is, and I'll get to this after this video, but Ukraine, I gotta find the article, but Ukraine is basically is reaching out to the major exchanges like Coinbase and demanding that they should make it very difficult, if not impossible, for Russia to use cryptocurrencies. And Russia is doing their own things, trying to prevent the Eastern European bloc countries from leveraging crypto. Like with the invasion of Kazakhstan, there was an internet blackout. Kazakhstan had 13% of the Bitcoin mining hash rate, and that all went down. And I think Russia's still continuing to try to wreak havoc in that country, and they're trying to do some, obviously invading Ukraine, which is not going to help Ukraine's mining operations either. When you invade a country, it really doesn't go well. But let me do a little bit. This is 7 minutes. Let me do a little bit of this. Son of a tech, the government doesn't want you to control your crypto keys.
About more regulation problems. This is going to be a regulator in Canada warns crypto exchanges not to promote self-custodial wallets. There is a battle of brewing. That's crazy. All right, so there is a battle of brewing right now, and it is between, to be clear, decentralization and centralization. Decentralization being what I would call like the new world, not new world order or anything like that, but the revolution, the new world, how it would function is everything gets decentralized. We've already seen this sort of with like information, right? The decentralization of information means that the public has more access, thanks to the internet, to information to learn new things, improve new skills, and improve as a whole, just across the entire planet. This is a good thing. This has been a demonstration of the merit of decentralization. Where it's moving into now is going to be the financial sector. A decentralization of the financial sector would pull the control and the power away from traditional financial institutions and governments. So this is going to be a big, long battle. And here's the problem. While we talk about regulation and some regulation being good, like understanding how to pay taxes in this kind of world, the ultimate goal for cryptocurrency, and because of the inception of Bitcoin and why it was created in the first place, means that you need to protect that ideal and principle if you want to participate in cryptocurrency. Unless you just plan on getting a CBDC and letting the government determine what you can or can't buy, then cool, go that route. But as for me and Bitcoin and where it stands, these are the principles you stand by. And one of those main principles at the very beginning that we preach on the channel, we've been doing it for years, ever since I got into cryptocurrency, not your keys, not your crypto. What does that mean? That means that you need to self-custody your cryptocurrency if you want to actually have that financial autonomy. And of course, that comes with a responsibility of not losing your keys, but you are separated now from the governments, from the traditional financial institutions. And we may be seeing you guys on Odyssey very soon, just from this podcast or whatever. But let's get into it here. Regulator in Canada warns crypto exchanges not to promote self-custodial wallets. Tweets from the CEOs of Coinbase and Kraken that advocated self-custody of digital assets are being looked at by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for violating sanctions put in place to curb the trucker protests in the country. The Ontario Securities Commission, OSC, sent the tweets to the police because it believed that the crypto executives were offering advice on how to evade sanctions on funds, according to the report. Yes, they are. That's the point. I'm sorry to say, but when the government starts shutting off your access to your bank accounts and your funds, well, crypto. Late last week, the Ontario Provincial Police and Royal Canadian Mounted Police ordered all regulated financial institutions, including crypto exchanges, to cease trading and freeze the assets of designated persons involved in the trucker protests, as well as 34 associated crypto wallets. Look, I don't care if you agree with the truckers or not. This is scary stuff. And you may say, I would never do that. I would never do a protest. I don't have to worry about it. I don't do anything wrong. I'm telling you, when they come for you and they decide you are doing something wrong, maybe participating in crypto, just participating in crypto can be a reason. So if you're on this channel, watching this channel right now, you are a potential target for the shutting down of your bank accounts, etc. I want to make that very clear.
All right, so because you're watching this stream, you're probably on an FBI list right now, so I apologize for that. But the whole issue with self-custodial wallets, crypto industry, that sovereignty has to remain. I mean, there's just no way that they can prevent wallet-to-wallet transfers. I guess they could if they did find your identity and then bang, they, that's how bad it could get. It's a very serious issue because it presents the argument that there really needs to be an anonymous mechanism for crypto transactions, because the government finds your identity, that's it. I mean, they just come to your home and that's it. You get arrested. You know what Trudeau did with the Emergency Powers Act, I mean, that's unprecedented. It was extreme overreach. I mean, it's just unfathomable. If Trudeau was able to do that, obviously he not only was he able to do it, but the Canadian Parliament voted and supported it. So I think the cryptocurrency reaction for crypto holders, you have to start working on preserving self-custodial wallets. Otherwise, we're all going to be screwed.
Clear. This is a problem that can grow past the truckers. And if they're going to start shutting off based on designated persons, what if they just accidentally shut one down of somebody that's not even there, an innocent bystander that's trying to walk their dog but was by the protest? You can't mass apply the freezing of financial assets of your public. Shortly after Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland announced the measure, both Powell and Armstrong tweeted in support of self-custody wallets. Self-custody means that the owner of the digital asset holds the private key for the wallet and thus has exclusive access. An appropriate metaphor would be keeping an asset in a safe with only the owner having the combination to the safe instead of placing it in a bank. In crypto's earliest days, this was the preferred way to store digital assets, and crypto lost its way and we got a whole bunch of people in worried about bored apes. I'm just disappointed in the direction this community is going in. Many investors preferred to hold their crypto on exchange. As digital assets became more mainstream, many investors preferred to hold their crypto in exchanges or with other custodians, many of which are regulated entities with licenses and insurance. Completely defeating the purpose of cryptocurrency, by the way. Representatives for Kraken and Coinbase have said that the exchanges intend to comply with the law. Both companies, however, have taken a public stance that they believe money shouldn't be censored and users should have protection from unjust seizure of assets. I agree with them. And I'm glad that Coinbase and Kraken have taken this stand, and I support them in that stand. And that's where I sit with it. All right.
All right, so we'll finish up with this video, but yeah, so I mean, really, what needs to be done is already, I think, pretty obvious. Preserve self-custodial wallets, and people need to stop relying on exchanges. If you've got crypto on an exchange, then have that amount on that exchange. Is if you need it, you want to take loans out on it, you want to use some kind of a feature that's tied to the exchange, then yeah, just do that. But the rest of your crypto, keep in wallets, and you're sending transactions, you want to support some cause, something this or that, just do a wallet-to-wallet transfer. And I believe the whole wallet-to-wallet transfer model is going to become more widely used and secure as more people wake up to this government corruption, this government seizure of power, and these power-hungry idiots. Trudeau admires Xi Jinping, head of the CCP. I mean, that's what he wants to be. He wants to be a dictator because you can get things done. I mean, he's said that publicly. All right, let me just see. I don't think I want to try and find either Crane stuff. This is off of Ground News. Ukraine raises $13 million in cryptocurrency thanks to crowdfunding. And then ruble crypto trading soars. Let's check this out. The ruble's been absolutely decimated. I think it's just pennies on the dollar now. Ruble-dominated trades with the Tether hit, which is a USDT stablecoin, hit 29.4 million, their highest this year. Stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency designed to avoid the wild fluctuations that plague Bitcoin. Figures suggest surging interest in crypto among Russians after Western sanctions imposed on Moscow. Now, many people in Russia have basically run out of the banks. They've all gone to the ATM and taken out as much cash as they can, and looks like they're putting a percentage of that into crypto, into Tether. Let's check this out. This is Reuters. The figure suggests surging interest in crypto among Russians. The Russian ruble tumbled to record low in volatile trade on Monday. Sorry, I gotta see where I am here. Losing a third of its value so far this year after the West ramped up sanctions, including blocking banks from the SWIFT global payment systems. Trading between the ruble and Bitcoin, whose 13-year history has been peppered with wild price swings, was more muted, the data showed. Ruble Bitcoin trading on Thursday topped 16 million. People with the ruble are trying to get out of it due to the drastic devaluation after all sanctions, said Arkane's Bendik Norum Shi. Let me see. Ruble to US dollar. Oh, wow. Let me see if this works. Tab to the right. Let me just get rid of this client bullshit. There you go. So am I reading that right? What does that say? Ruble to US dollar, could that be right? One Russian ruble now equals .0096 United States dollars. Yeah. All right. So, let me go back to this main list. This goes back to what I was talking about. Ukraine has been trying to get the major exchanges to refuse blocking Russian users from using the crypto markets. Binance is working to comply with sanctions on Russia imposed by Western governments following the invasion of Ukraine. The exchange is donating US $10 million to the Ukrainian humanitarian effort while establishing a crypto-first crowdfunding site. Russian firms and investors may explore crypto services to bypass sanctions. Let me check out this one. This from Fortune.com. Crypto exchanges choose financial freedom and refuse to block Russian users. It's posted today at 11 a.m. Despite the call from Ukraine's vice prime minister asking cryptocurrency exchanges to block all Russian user accounts, trading is likely to continue much the same as normal. So this is interesting. To tell you the truth, I hope that they don't prevent the Russian people from using cryptocurrencies. I mean, they are under brutal circumstances. I mean, it's not their fault that Putin invaded Ukraine, and now the Russian economy is going to... I mean, all economies are now going to be hit really hard, but especially Russia's. So the Russian people should have some kind of choice in the crypto markets to help alleviate the financial pressure. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, says it has no plans for a unilateral freeze, though it said it would block the accounts of specific individuals who are affected by the sanctions. So there are a bunch of oligarchs, billionaires, what have you, Russian oligarchs that are have their accounts frozen internationally. We are not going to unilaterally freeze millions of innocent users, Binance goes on to say. Crypto is meant to provide greater financial freedom for people across the globe. To unilaterally decide to ban people's access to their crypto would fly in the face of the reason why crypto exists. On Sunday, Mykola Fedorov, the vice prime minister of Ukraine, called for a blanket ban on Russian cryptocurrency trades via Twitter, saying it's crucial to freeze not only the address linked to Russian and Belarusian politicians, but also to sabotage ordinary users. Russia is a major market for Binance, which counts more than 113,000 members in its Russian language Telegram channel. Binance wasn't the only exchange to reject the call for a complete blackout. Jesse Powell, CEO of Kraken Exchange, said he understood the reason behind the request, but was also declining. I don't think there's any mention of Coinbase here. Let's see. There's one other site I want to look at. Let's see. Already went over that. Layer 2 tax week. What is this? Theme week? Let me see here. This link. Alright, so this is a pretty good link to check out. I'm going to post this in the chat. Coming off CoinDesk. They've got a tax week going on here. 7 types of crypto tax nightmares. U.S. Crypto Tax Guide 2022. Let's check that out. But looks like a good collection of links here. Capital gains tax events involving cryptocurrencies include selling cryptocurrency for fiat, which I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people are going to realize it's probably not the best thing to do. You're really better off just holding your crypto and not transferring it to fiat, especially with how the value of the US dollar is, and all fiats around the world are decreasing in value every day. Sending cryptocurrency as a gift, anything over $15,000 for the 2021 tax year. Purchasing goods and services with cryptocurrency, even small purchases like buying a coffee, trading or swapping one digital asset for another. This includes purchasing NFTs using cryptocurrencies. It's worth noting you only owe tax on any capital gains you make from these events, not the full amount of disposed assets. This is calculated as the difference between the price paid for the asset and the price it was sold at. Income tax events include receiving cryptocurrency from an airdrop, any crypto interest earnings from DeFi lending, crypto mining income from block rewards and transaction fees, crypto earned from liquidity pools and interest-bearing accounts. Receiving cryptocurrency as a means of payment for carrying out work, including bug bounties. Interestingly, and Son of a Tech went over this, but the tax laws surrounding crypto earned via staking remain unclear. That's why that couple took the IRS and the government to court. For the most part, many report it as a mining income, which is kind of weird. However, there's an ongoing case against the IRS for staking rewards to be taxed only when they're sold, not when they're earned. So staking rewards is a big gray area that's going to have to be fixed. The argument put forward by the plaintiffs in the case asserts newly created property such as furniture or other manufactured goods usually taxable only at the point of sale. How much U.S. crypto tax do you pay? Calculating how much cryptocurrency tax you owe in the U.S. is based on how long you've held the assets prior to disposing of them, as well as which income tax bracket you fall under. See, this is the basics there. Definitely something I'm looking into is trying to get a portion of crypto holdings that I have, getting it into an IRA or some type of tax shelter, IRA or Roth IRA. So that's how I'm looking at long term, because I'm going to be holding certain tokens for a long time. So it makes sense just to try to get it in tax shelter in IRA or Roth IRA. So it's something I'm looking into. Anyway, that CoinDesk link has Sourdy's in the chat. Good to see you. It's got a bunch of good links there. I think I'm gonna move on. Maybe we check out a Mark Moss video. Do I have one loaded up here? What is this here? This news to share. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Orbit. There's 23. Check out this one for a little bit here. 10 steps to protect your money from massive coming changes.
Massive coming changes. Now, things around the world.
Audio is a little bit low. Sorry about that.
If you're not paying attention, then your money and your future will be at risk. And even if you are paying attention, what can you do to protect yourself, your family, and your finances? So in this video, I'm going to break down what is happening right now that you should be paying attention to, but you might not have realized. Why the time is coming fast, you might only have a few more months to prepare. And I'm going to give you 10 steps to protect your money from these massive changes that are coming. So let's go. All right, welcome back. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss, and I make these videos to change the way you think about money, because almost everything that you have learned is wrong. I'm trying to bring context to what is happening politically, financially, and in the technological realm. Now, I'm going to give you 10 steps of ways that you can protect yourself from changes that are coming super fast. Like I said, maybe only a few more months to be prepared. Now, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. However, I am going to do a special presentation off of YouTube, stuff I can't talk about on YouTube. There's a link down below. It's free. You can come. It's going to be about an hour. I'm going to go through more details on what I'm doing with my money, what I'm doing to prepare exact assets and so forth that I'm buying. And I'm going to do a full live Q&A so you can ask me all the questions that you want about what I'm going to prepare or what I'm going to present to you. There's a link down below. Like I said, it's free, but it's in depth. It's something that I can't cover on YouTube. So check it out. Join me on this special live presentation. Okay, jumping right into it. We are talking about the 10 steps. So like I said, changes are coming really fast. It's coming so fast we can barely keep up on it. Of course, some of the news headlines you've seen: inflation. Inflation, inflation, inflation. There's no inflation. Inflation's transitory. Now it's a big problem. Inflation rate accelerates to a 40-year high at 7.5%. Now, of course, I've done plenty of videos as to why that's not even a true number. It's way higher than 7.5%, but that's what they're telling us. We know that the real unemployment rate is super high. They're telling us that unemployment is back down to very low historical levels, except for whenever I go anywhere in my town, I see help wanted signs everywhere. As a matter of fact, lots of stores in my town are not even able to open at certain times because they don't have enough staff. So if we look back at how they used to calculate unemployment just 2 decades ago, we're at double digits unemployment. It's pretty bad. We can see that, as I've made many videos, the Fed is stuck. What are they going to do? If they continue to stimulate the markets, that inflation just keeps going higher. However, if they stop stimulating the markets, then the markets crash. Either way, they're in a bad position. Either way, and like I said, the central banks cannot stop this. They're basically out of options. Interest rates are at zero or negative in most parts of the world, and we've created trillions of dollars, and there's nowhere to go. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Civil unrest is at an all-time high, and these are all leading up to some of the changes. Now, another part of a lot of these changes that we're having is because of this. Their power is slipping. So what does that mean? So if you're watching this channel, it's not coming as a surprise to you. If you're new, I apologize. You're going to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour really quickly here. But basically, we have people that want to control the world. These are the people that go into politics. These are the people that work at the World Economic Forum. They work at the IMF, and they want to control the world. They want to tell you how to live because, of course, you're not smart enough, and they want that money, they want that control, and they need that money, and then they control through policies and through narratives, through media, and that power has been slipping. Part of it.
So, yeah, Klaus Schwab definitely in the headlines a lot, especially with the trucker convoy and Trudeau. Obviously, he leads the World Economic Forum, but also the new Environmental Social Governance Group, which is going to create all kinds of havoc for individuals and small companies. Already is now and into the future, because now that the coof is abating, endemic, or whatever you want to call it, they're going to be going on and on about climate change and the end of the world and how you should be running your life, and they're going to be telling you what you can and cannot do. So it'll be interesting.
The reason why their power is slipping is because of this. Now, I talk about this in my 3 cycles thesis. I talk about the technological revolution that's changing. I'll go ahead and link to that video right up here. But basically, what's happened is whenever the technology changes, it changes the way the world works, it changes the way that we organize. And the internet is one of those driving forces. And so they used to be able to control the people through the information that was available, but the internet has changed everything. Today, we're talking about the Federal Reserve. Nobody talked about the Federal Reserve 20 years ago. Today, we're talking about fiat currency. Nobody talked about fiat currency. Today, we can see every single thing that's being done, and no matter how hard they try to control that narrative through their mainstream media, you know, CNN, CNBC, etc., they're not getting anybody to watch that. Now everybody's watching Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson. And so the internet has completely changed that. And so for the last 2 years, what we've really seen is a struggle of the leaders trying to hold on to any control that they have. They're desperately trying to control the narrative, but they are losing control. And we can see this all over. And so, for example, Afghanistan. Afghanistan was a complete disaster. 20
Thanks
years
for the
they're there.
lemons.
$20 trillion is gone. Where did that money go? Where did that $20 trillion go?
D-Live's kicking you out, believe to?
Spectacular defeat. The United States, the greatest military in the history of the world, left with their tail between their legs and literally people clinging onto the edge of airplanes.
Believe to, I'm not sure what you mean by D-Live kicks me out. You getting kicked out of the channel here?
Trying to get out of there. And of course, the internet allowed us all to see exactly what was happening. We have the Ukraine situation going on right now where the media is telling us that Russia is going to invade and that the United States people have to be ready to go to war. But in Ukraine, they're like, wait a minute, we're not having any problems. And Russia's not trying to take us over. And so we have this internet and it's completely changed everything. Of course, we have the trucker protest that's going on in Canada.
There's another thing also that I'm seeing out of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The amount of propaganda and misinformation is really off the charts. We did the Canuck and Yankee show yesterday, and there was a story that we did that was posted from a main media source, but it was misinformation. It was basically it was basically the Ukrainians basically said there was a confrontation between Ukrainians and the Russian army. Ukrainians said, go fuck yourself, basically, and it was reported that they were killed, or they kind of made it sound like that, but that's not actually what happened. None of the Ukrainians were harmed, but there's all just story after story, especially in the U.S. and Europe and the Western markets. There's all this like weird, has like a pro-Ukrainian angle to it, but it's like photos of destroyed infrastructure in Ukraine where it's supposed to be Ukraine, but it's not even that, or it's from 5 years ago. So just social media is getting bombarded with a lot of misinformation, and these the mainstream media outlets are not checking it. And we for our show yesterday we should have double checked more. But the level of misinformation is really off the charts. So people need to keep that in mind, and it's also we really need to build a system. I know Tim Stool, what do you want to call him? He has talked about some type of fact checking. Facebook has their stupid fact checking, which is absolutely horrible. But I think as a community, internet community, there's got to be some kind of fact-checking mechanism. I don't know, maybe it could be like a browser extension, whatever, something that you can universally provide input on a story on whether it's false or not, or if you have knowledge that there's misinformation there. If we could create a site or it's basically a database that has all that information, that would be absolutely instrumental if we had that for right now for the Ukraine invasion, because it's just off the charts amount of propaganda and misinformation.
Canada right now, where the mainstream media wants to tell you that they're racist and misogynist and they're there with hate, but then we have the internet that shows us that they're there peacefully and they're dancing and they're singing and they're all with Canadian flags. And so the mainstream media wants to tell you something, but they have lost the narrative. And because of this, they're trying to gaslight us, but we know the difference. Here's a good one. The Fed cannot get inflation under control. They're doing anything to control inflation. Remember, if they don't stop stimulating the markets, inflation rate is higher. But here's a good idea. Why don't we blame it on Russia? Because we blame everything on Russia. Russia-Ukraine conflict could cause inflation to hit 10%. They tell us. Oh, that's pretty good. Why don't we just blame it on Russia? But their power is slipping, and so what's happened is it's caused them to try to hang on to their power with everything they have. But here is the thing. It's a race. The timing is hard, okay? It's easy to see what's going to happen. It's almost impossible to predict when it's going to happen. However, I have this crystal ball, Well, it's a picture of a crystal ball. I don't really have one. I wish I did. It would sure make it much easier if I did. But I'm going to try to give you what I think is going to happen. So anyway, it's a race. It's a race between what? Well, they're losing their power very quickly. So it's a race. How fast can they set up new controls to handle that control? How fast can they get them set up before the public has woken up and gotten rid of them? That's the race right now. And so the people are waking.
Okay, so believe too, you're saying that when you clicked on the Odyssey.com link that I posted, it kicks you out? There's all kinds of issues with DLive chat. What exactly does it? When you clicked on the Odyssey link, did it actually take you to Odyssey? It should have created a new browser window and bring you there. But like DLive chat, any long text, it'll cut off. I don't know what it could be like other issues. I have here. I'll post if you want to join my Discord. I have a here. I think it should be here. If I could type, that's the Variant News Discord. If you want, you can join the Variant News Discord, and then when you go into the Discord, I have a chat mirror of all the chat in the live streams. It's called Live Stream Chat, and from there you can easily access the Mark Moss link that I posted. Let me know. It's up to you if you want to join the Discord. But yeah, all the chat is on the Variant News Discord, so you can join there and check it out.
Waking up all over the world. The truckers in Canada are now spreading to a trucker protest happening in the United States, into Australia, into all these other areas. And so everybody is waking up to this. The internet is waking people up, and we'll get into a couple of facts about this pretty quickly. And can they hang on? Well, what are some of these pieces of control that they need? So obviously, your health passport that you need to have on your phone to gain access to society, that's one way. If they can get you to force you to be able to check in to even gain access to society, that's one way. Another way is digital IDs. You see that all over the news are talking about it. And another way is the central bank digital currencies, which of course is something that I have talked about at length. Now I want to bring you to this. This is from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. They're kind of like the central bank above central banks. I know. The BIS is really that. But for this purpose, the IMF sits above that. And we can see right here a few days ago, February 9th, Kristalina Georgieva, she is from the IMF. She said that in this report, The Future of Money, she said that we have moved beyond conceptual discussions of central bank digital currencies. They're done discussing it. We are now in the phase of experimentation. That means they're out. They're here. They're using them. So that tool is here. Now, a lot of people have asked, and I've made the point, let's say that over the last 24 months, the Federal Reserve and the government have spent about $8 trillion to keep the markets from crashing. Globally, about $20 trillion to keep the markets from crashing. They obviously don't want them to crash. Why would they have spent $8 trillion or $20 trillion globally just to let them crash now? It doesn't make any sense, would it? Unless they're trying to keep them propped up until they're ready for a switch. And that's the premise that I've been operating on. I've talked about it many times with you. And so we know that they are almost ready. When the central bank digital currencies are ready, they'll be ready to let the system crash so they can make a switch. Unless they're running out of time and they have to speed that up. I'm going to show you what I mean. But back to this. So the central bank digital currencies, they're almost ready. They're past talking about it. They're experimenting now. 100 countries are exploring central bank digital currencies at one level or another. We can see in China, which of course has been leading the way, China's control over their surveillance and their technology is of course what the West is trying to bring everywhere else. So of course China's leading the way with their social credit score system and their money. It says China, the digital renminbi, is more than 100 million individual users, more than 100 million individual users, and billions of yuan in transactions. So that's about a third of the United States in size of the people that are actually using their central bank digital currency. Just last month, in January, the Federal Reserve issued a report that noted that a CBDC could fundamentally change the structure of the U.S. financial system. Are you paying attention? I'm taking them at their word. This is not conspiracy. This is not meant to be controversial. This is what the IMF put out a few days ago. The Federal Reserve, I'm going to read it again, that their CBDC would fundamentally change the structure of the U.S. financial system. How will it do that? Well, let's take a look. I want to play you a clip. Now, remember I said that the central bank, so all the countries have central banks, and then there's a central bank above the central banks. It's kind of the IMF, but really it's the BIS. So let's listen to a clip from the head of the BIS telling us about central bank digital currencies. Let's go ahead and give it a play.
All our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash. And there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
So there you heard it, directly from his mouth. Now remember what I tell you all the time. I take these people at their word. That's what he said. Central bank digital currencies will be used to monitor and control every single aspect of your financial life. You see what's happening in Canada? Oh, nope, you can't donate money to peaceful people that are, doing peaceful assembly anymore. You're not allowed to do that. Oh, you give money to GoFundMe or whatever? We'll just seize it. No problem. You see what's happening? And now, in his own words, they want to use central bank digital currencies for that. Now, like I said, I've been operating under this premise that...
All right, I want to check one more video from Mark Moss, and I think I'm going to call it a stream after that. It's this one here. Check out this one. Check out a little bit of this.
Warning, war with
Russia leads to end of the dollar? Is the dollar going to crumble?
Russia leads to the end of the dollar. Over the last several weeks, talks of war with Russia have continued to escalate. Will Russia invade Ukraine? If they do, will the U.S. go to war to protect Ukraine? Now, we can see the news is picking up stories, putting more Americans against Russia, blaming them for everything, including messing with the elections in the U.S., stoking the trucker protests in Canada, cyber hacking, and even being responsible for the sky-high inflation in Europe. So in this video, I'm going to break down how something very similar happened 40 years ago, how what was bad for peace was good for some stocks and investments if you knew what to do, and how regardless of the outcome of the war, the dollar is most likely to suffer, and what you need to be doing with your money to protect it and grow it during these volatile times. So let's go. Welcome back. If you are new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss, and I make these videos to change the way you think about money, because almost everything you've learned is wrong. Almost everything you hear and see is probably wrong, maybe misleading, if you don't have it in the greater context of what's going on, especially through a historical lens. So I do my best to bring this to you. Now we're talking about changes, war, peace, and what's going to happen to the dollar. Now, there's good and bad in everything. Now, there's bad in peace is unfortunately affected. The markets will probably be affected. However, there's good where if you know how to navigate this, it could be good for your financial portfolio. Now, I'm going to run through what we're talking about. I do want to let you know that next week I am hosting a live event where I'm going to spend about an hour going through this in detail, the tectonic plates that are emerging right now is going to create this cataclysmic event in the markets, and of course, most importantly, what you should be doing in your portfolio. There's a link down below if you want to join me. It's a free presentation. It'll be about an hour. I'll do a live question and answer so I can answer all your questions while we're there. But let's go ahead and just jump into it. So we're talking about war. War with Russia, war with Ukraine, war with the United States. What's going to happen? A direct combat attempt. Now, I just let you know through a historical lens that every time the markets are ready to crash, war seems to be the outcome. Check me out on that. But let's look at this. So right now, we have Russia. Is it going to invade the Ukraine? It's been interesting. Over the last couple of days, we've seen mainstream media putting out stories that Russia will invade on.
So Believe 2 asks, where should we put cash besides crypto, gold, and silver? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe other precious metals like copper, what have you, stuff like that. And just hoarding things in general, things that have value, physical goods, real estate. Another thing too, used cars. If you're good with cars too, like used cars, and you can fix them up, I think there's going to be a big market for that, at least for the next 5, 10, maybe longer, even longer than 10 years, because new cars are an absolute nightmare. They're not only in the United States but around the world. We covered this on the Canuck and Yankee show yesterday, and it's obviously been reported a lot all over. But they're planning on putting in kill switches into the new cars, and then so that may become legislation at some point. So every new car is going to have this ridiculous kill switch, so a government hacker, anybody can shut your car down. So I think it's gonna make the used car market has already exploded now because they don't have enough CPUs to put in new cars. So I think like the used car market has enormous value right now.
Wednesday. I'm pretty sure when I read Sun Tzu's The Art of War, one of the things that he recommended was not to tell your enemy what day you invade them on. But anyway, that's what the mainstream is trying to tell us. Will they invade or not? We don't really know. I made a video about this before where I said I do believe they will invade. And the reason why is because the U.S. isn't probably going to do anything.
I mean, it's obviously before they invaded, but I just want to check out what he had to say before Putin went in.
Maybe slap some sanctions, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. The big thing seems to be that Russia does not want Ukraine to get into NATO. They do not want that. They need this buffer zone. Now, should I...
So Obama had a coup in Ukraine. I think it was around 2018, if I'm correct. But anyway, they installed a puppet government there. Obama, along with Biden as vice president. Hunter Biden, his son, was in Ukraine making dealings. He was on a board of a lucrative resource company in Ukraine, making a lot of money. Was not qualified to be on that board. Hunter Biden. There's a big mess there. It's absolutely ironic that Biden gets elected. He's going through massive cognitive decline, and Putin invades Ukraine after what Obama did back in 2018. NATO should. We all would have been better off if NATO had just dissolved itself after the Berlin Wall fell. But that's all it's been doing since the Berlin Wall fell, is just constantly encroaching on Russia's borders, trying to get more and more Eastern Bloc countries into NATO. And Putin finally just lost his shit and just went all out invading Ukraine.
Should you care about this? Do you really care anything about Ukraine? Joe Biden and his son Hunter certainly does. But do you or I care about Ukraine? Do you even know what's going on? I'm going to explain it to you. Do the Russians care? Well, for the Russians, it's an existential issue. They want a buffer zone. They do not want U.S. or NATO troops along their border, and they've made that abundantly clear, and that seems to be where the standoff. What about for the Americans? You and I, if we're Americans, do we care? Well, I certainly don't. What about the global elite? What about the industrial military complex? What about the warmongers? Let's take a look at that. Now, what we can see here, and again, this is seeding all over the news, we can see that the Ukraine crisis, there's no sign of a Russian de-escalation. No sign. So Russia's going full bore ahead, and it's on. But check out this I came across that I thought was pretty useful. For those that might be wondering, why does anybody care about Ukraine? We can see here, we see Ukraine is first in Europe in proven recoverable reserves of uranium. First in Europe in uranium. I'll say that again. You know we have energy crisis. I've been doing videos all about the energy crisis going throughout Europe.
And Putin now has stepped up the rhetoric on nuclear war, the threat of nuclear war. And Ukraine has all these uranium reserves. That's interesting to note.
United States and really the world. Uranium or nuclear is really the only way out of this. France is ahead of the curve. They're petitioning the EU to make it green energy. I think that's going to happen, and uranium is going to be a hot commodity. That's one of the positions you should be looking at in your portfolio. And so they're the first in Europe. We can see they're the second largest in iron ore reserves, pretty big. Third in Europe in shale gas. So energy in Europe is in a crisis. We've seen price of natural gas go up by over 10 times, over 1,000%. They're completely dependent on Russia for natural gas. And here we are, third in all of Europe in natural gas reserves, fourth in the world in total value of natural resources. Of course, that's what every nation needs, natural resources. Seventh place in the world in coal reserves. We're still running on coal for electricity, and so that's important. There's massive shortages of coal in China. It's a hot commodity. We can see down here, this is all agricultural stuff. I'm not going to go through everything, but we can see here Ukraine can meet the food needs of 600 million people because of the agriculture, the type of soil they have, the arable land, the amount of sun, etc., what they're exporting. And then Ukraine is an industrialized economy, second in Europe for natural gas pipeline systems in the world. It's a pretty hot thing if you've been paying attention to what's going on with natural gas. Like I said, the crisis, Russia, the Nord Stream, etc. Ninth place in the world in exporting defense industry products, the warmongers, and 10th largest steel producer in the world. So Ukraine is...
Those are lots of goodies that I would imagine Putin is salivating over.
Is actually pretty valuable for the world. So now you may understand why there is a fight over that. All right, now the good and the bad. Like I said, everything has good and bad to it. The good and the bad. The bad is that it's probably going to continue to be worse on the economy. Obviously, war is never good, in my opinion. I don't want boys and girls out there fighting. However, it could be good for stocks. It could be good for your portfolio if you know how to manage that. Specifically, energy and defense. I talked about uranium, natural gas, energy, and for defensive stocks. Now, what about the defensive stocks? I'm talking about, again, the industrial military complex. The defense stocks have been underperforming the entire market for 2020, 2021, left behind by the tech stocks. The defense industry probably isn't too happy about that, and so maybe it's time to get those stocks going, if you know what I mean. We have war, talked about war in Ukraine, obviously war with China over Taiwan, war in Syria in the Middle East. It's all happening everywhere. So some names to put on your list: Lockheed, Northrop Grumman, and Leidos. I like Leidos. It's an intelligence contractor, and we can just see.
So I'm going to finish up with the video here and pretty much the stream, but you know, in my mind, everything's been kind of set up to NATO encroaching on Russian territory for years, even since the fall, obviously, of the fall of Berlin Wall in '89. The Obama administration with Biden as vice president doing that coup in Ukraine in 2018, and now we come to the present day. And all of this is really good for American strongholds like Northrop Grumman, the military weapons company that makes billions and billions of dollars. So it's really good for them. This conflict is really good for them, but for the average person on the street, obviously not. So I don't know. It just makes you wonder how everything has unfolded so quickly under the Biden administration. And also, another thing I want to start looking at is, China's response to this. I mean, they're obviously sitting on the sidelines, not saying much about the Russian invasion, but I know there's definitely going to be financial dealings that Russia will have with China. Obviously, they're kind of, both Russia and China have extreme love-hate relationship with each other. Obviously, they share communism, but they're both fighting over resources, and they both get in each other's way. But obviously, the CCP is sitting back and looking at what Russia has done, and what CCP wants to do is get into Taiwan. So that's obviously something that needs to be watched. And I imagine, they're doing a really good analysis on the reaction on the world stage to all of this, the CCP. And they're constantly flying sorties, flights over Taiwan, showing signs of aggression constantly. They've been doing it now, even with yet again, even with the invasion of Ukraine. Who knows? Maybe this is the time they think it's best to invade Taiwan. And if they were to invade Taiwan, 75% of the silicon production, basically meaning CPU production, GPUs, graphical processing units, CPUs for everything from smart cars to desktop computers, mobile phones, blah, blah, blah. Taiwan dominates 75% of the market. So the entire world's economy would be decimated. China would have absolute stranglehold on all future technology, what have you. Now, Intel here in the United States, they are working on building new factories. They've started building new factories in Arizona that will be generating CPUs and I believe also GPUs. I think so. Arizona, I believe maybe it's Ohio. They're also building additional Intel factories. So Intel's starting to wake up to this because I think it's an invasion or some kind of takeover, CCP takeover Taiwan. It's going to happen. Chinese Communist Party, they have a big date coming up in 2049. So it's going to happen, but obviously before then. And at least Intel is, that's why I'm considering picking up some Intel stock because, if they're successful, they're going to be doing well in the next 5 to 10, 20 years. So at least Intel, they're trying to wake up the government and anyone that'll listen that, it's not good that Taiwan, captures 75% of the silicon market. So at least Intel's doing something in the right direction and bringing some manufacturing to the United States. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to end the stream. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out. Sour D and Anyword, Believe 2, thanks for hanging out and joining the Variant News Discord. Appreciate that. Hippie was in the chat. Thanks for hanging out. And also for providing all that wallet information, because that helps me. I'm working on a crypto wallet, and it's always good to check out what's out there with the other crypto wallets. So thanks for that information. I'm going to end the stream. And as always, we're going to have the Canuck and Yankee show Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mondays, I'm trying to get on a more set schedule to do a Cryptopia type show like this one. I think I'm going to start doing them, try to do them every Monday at around, I think, 7 p.m. Eastern, around there. 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. I've got to figure that out. Got to solidify that in my head and then get some graphics, promotion banners set up and all that stuff. So But once again, thanks everybody for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye. Thanks.
My tree. I love my woman, she making love to me. All I got is one thing down, one thing down. Don't shine, shoot.